Hey everyone, and welcome back once again to the Mobiledev learning journey. Last episode, we made a basic map and put some cities on it. If you haven't seen the previous episodes yet, I'd recommend you go watch them before watching this one. The playlist will be linked in the description. Today, the plan is to start working on the player character and the interface. First up, the player. Last episode, I said the player was probably going to be a brown square, but I realized that was probably boring to watch, so I went on the asset store and I found these cool free sprites. I used the wheelbarrow to simulate the cart, which will represent the player carriage for now. I've also desaturated the colors of the map a little bit, so your eyes should hurt less after you're done watching this video. While I was on the visual overhaul spree, I also decided to get some temporary sprites for the cities. This is a bit nicer to look at, and if that doesn't deserve a like on this video, I don't know what does. But enough with the visuals for now, here's what I've been working on. First, I got started on some UI using the UI toolkit. I managed to design this temporary UI. This was my first time using this new tool and I really enjoyed it. This is gonna be the main interface that's always gonna be available to the player. I chose the progress bar to represent currencies because I felt like it would be nice to have a gold cap initially, allowing us to put max gold capacity upgrades in the game. Of course, all the visuals will be changed later, and for now we want a basic idea of how the layout is gonna look. Unity has this great simulation feature where you can see how the game will be displayed on different screen sizes. While testing this out with our current UI, I realized that some of the buttons went off the screen in most of the screen types. So I went back and corrected this, and this was the result. It's nice to know that the game's look will be consistent regardless of the device you're using. And while I was facing this, I also corrected this very annoying typo I made. You can thank me later. Next, I created a city menu. This is the menu that's gonna pop up when you press on a city. I first started with simple overlay that only displays the city's name and a go button that will bring the player to this city when you press it. Now that is in place, I wrote a bit of code to make it so that the menu only appears when a city is pressed. And just like that, we have a functioning menu. A slight overlook for me, it would actually be nice to be able to close this menu. So I made a close button and implemented the code for it to work properly. Since I'm extremely talented, the button was perfectly aligned and worked flawlessly from the get-go. Yes, so after picking up the pieces of my shattered ego, I got back to work. I fixed a bit of code and styling, and I also made it so that the city name text is changed to the actual name of the city when you press on a specific city. And as you can see, when I touch a specific city, a menu opens with its name and a functional close button. While testing this out, I realized that while the controls I did last episode worked, they didn't feel that good. The zoom was way too fast and the dragging gets very fast when we are completely zoomed in. I took a deep breath and I went back to hell, aka coding controls. Most of the work had already been done though, so it wasn't much trouble to just adjust the speed. After a few minutes of trial and error, I ended up with something that felt much better. Now this UI deserves a bit of an overhaul. After looking at free UI packs on the asset store, I ended up going with this one, because I liked it. To start, for the inventory and settings, I wanted to use a simple icon. I chose these two icons for now, and they'll act as the buttons for the inventory and the settings respectively. Next, I tried using my freshly downloaded UI pack to customize our bars up top, but I realized that it didn't work as intended. After looking around and reading a bit, I came to the conclusion that using a built-in progress bars might not be the best thing for what I had in mind, so I deleted them and replaced them with our temporary UI bars. The downside of this change is that I'm going to have to code the progress bar from scratch. However, on the plus side, it will allow us to customize it and make it look exactly like we want much easier. And I'd rather spend my time coding than designing a bar. The gold bar and the durability bar will work in the same fashion. First, you'll have a maximum value that can be upgraded, and second, you have a current value, which is how much you have right now. The diamond bar will work differently. Diamonds are gonna be the premium currency. This might change later, it might change from diamond to something else, but for now that's the idea. And there's not gonna be a limit like gold or durability to how much you can own. So I'm thinking for now, just leaving the bar always full. With the way I built these bars, it's gonna be very easy so that they fill up depending on how much gold or durability the player currently has. The text was also changed to show exactly how much the player has of that specific resource. I colored the bars to make them recognizable, and I must say I really like how it looks. Of course, once we get into the game view, it's a bit of a color overload for now, but that'll do. Now it's time to upgrade the appearance of the city menu. I went back to the UI editor and got to work. I changed the background of the menu and the close button. After playing with the close button a bit, a big error started popping up. And I did what every responsible person does when a problem arises. I ignored it, hoping it would go away. Unfortunately, it didn't go away by itself. Shocker. And I had to fix it myself like a sad grown-up. After fiddling a bit with the values, I noticed that the menu was way too transparent, so I made it almost completely opaque, but I still left a bit of transparency just because I feel like it's less harsh on the eyes. I'm a programmer, not a designer, so even though this UI may look rough, I was very happy with myself to have made something that looked kinda decent in such a small amount of time. I'm sure that with a lot of love and time, I can make this UI look very nice. With the basic design out of the way, maybe it's time to finally give a use to that big old go button. Like I said in the last episode, I will spend less time explaining the code I do. First, because it's very heavy information, and second, well, because it changes all the time. Most of the code I wrote last episode has already been changed behind the scenes. That big explanation of city and city script and city info script and whatnot, that was all for nothing, because I changed my mind and found a less stupid way to doing this. I kinda got sidetracked here, but yeah, the go button. All I have to do is just a bit of editing magic, and it works now. I can press blue city, then go, and it goes. Having the player teleporting though is not the best, so I made him move slowly towards its destination. Even though that's much better, it's still not perfect, as I can still interact with other cities and change destination mid-travel. A bit more work later, and here we are. Movement is now blocked if the player is currently traveling. You can still open any city menu, but the go button is not gonna work. See? Right now, I'm traveling to Blue City, and I'm currently spamming the go button for Green City, but the travel will not start until the player has reached Blue City. Unfortunately, that's pretty much all the UI work we can do without first setting up an inventory system. The next steps for the UI will be creating the inventory window and the trade option in the cities, but that will require a functioning item system. So on that note, I think this will end today's episode. I'm really happy with the work we did on the UI, and next episode, things are gonna start getting serious. We'll start working on our inventory and item system, and if that goes well, maybe we'll have time to start making a few basic items and test some buying and selling functions to play with that new inventory. As always, I'm very open to any comments regarding the game or the video. If you enjoyed the video, please like it and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the future uploads in this series. I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.